Thomas the Tank Engine has been on the Northwestern Railway for many years. From shunting trucks in the station yards pulling his coaches, Annie and Clarabelle, to Thomas has been really useful all his life. Today was the anniversary of when Thomas came to the railway, but he didn't know this yet. Come to think of it, he barely ever knows it any year, but today was different. That day, Thomas woke up alone at Knapford Sheds. He had a bit of a problem finding out why.
Why is it empty in here?
He thought, but he assumed he just woke up late and went to work. It wasn't long before something jumped out onto Thomas's track.
Bust my buffers!
Thomas applied his brakes and stopped just in time. The engine on Thomas's line was just Percy, rushing to get in front of him.
Hey, Thomas!
He huffed to Thomas, as if he were in a hurry. Thomas was confused.
Hi, Percy!
The two engines looked at each other.
Can I help you?
He asked Percy.
I just needed to tell you that the fat controller said you shouldn't be at Knapford until further notice.
He replied.
Oh! Okay, why? I need to run my branch line.
Just then, Edward pulled up.
The fat controller said you should be in the shunting yard until further notice,
said Edward.
Oh! Okay.
He said doubtfully. Still confused, Thomas went away. Percy felt bad about lying to his best friend, but he knew it was for the best. Meanwhile, Thomas decided to use his spare time by shunting some trucks in the sidings. He still wanted to know what that was all about, though. He thought to himself before continuing. After he finished, he decided he'd go back to the shed. Just as Thomas was about to go to Knapford Yard to do more shunting, Lady came out of nowhere and coupled up to Thomas. In a hurry, she towed him out of the yard at top speed and wouldn't stop. After they stopped, Lady uncoupled from Thomas and pulled out. Thomas was too tired to care where he was. He decided to stop on a siding for a drink of water. Soon then, James the splendid red engine pulled up with a truck. The truck had a tarp on it and was labeled Thomas's stuff. Thomas couldn't see the label though.
James, what's that?
Thomas asked him.
In that truck, right there, Thomas, is something for me to know, and you to find out tonight,
replied the red engine as he went away with the truck.
Bother,
said Thomas.
if no one will tell me what they're doing,
He said.
I'll find out myself.
Soon, James turned down the Little Western Railway. Thomas was about to go down that line too, but just as he went in front of the line the points were switched. Thomas had to go straight instead.
Bust my buffers.
Thomas said.
What is going on with these engines?
That afternoon, Percy and Lady were at Knapford, waiting for James with the truck.
Where is this guy?
Asked Percy with an impatient look on his face.
He's taking forever with that box, and by the time he arrives, it'll already be time to bring Thomas over here.
Relax, Percy.
said Lady, beside the little green caterpillar.
James'll be here before Thomas even finds out.
At last, James arrived. His face was as red as his shiny red coat. The two engines laughed.
What took you so long?
They asked him.
Sorry I'm late.
He replied.
Thomas was getting suspicious, so he almost followed me here.
Soon, both Gordon and Julian rolled into Knapford with the express. Both huffed and puffed with pride as they pulled important passengers into the station.
Here are the important visitors, sir.
Gordon said as he pulled in with the express.
Good timing, boys,
Said that fat controller, proud of his two locomotives. Then his expression became concerned.
I might need Toby to bring Thomas over here tonight, though. But someone should tell him why. Julian, will you tell Toby to bring Thomas at sunset?
Yes, sir. I will, sir.
The green engine replied happily. Soon, he was uncoupled from the express and set off to find Toby the tram engine. Meanwhile, Edward pulled onto a track beside Salty the dockside diesel, as if he was going to talk to him before leaving.
Hey, Sodor, thanks for helping me. Get these things from Thomas's old railway.
Edward said to the dockside diesel.
I guess that's why you work at the docks.
Well, it was nothing, matey.
Salty replied.
If you ever need anything else from other parts of the world, just let me know.
Then, off Edward went, with two vans imported from the LBSC railway. Meanwhile, Thomas decided to run some of his branch line because there was no better time for it. Seconds later, Henry the heavy goods engine came by with a long goods train. Thomas sighed and said,
Let me guess, you won't tell me anything either. No one else has, so why should you?
Henry laughed a bit and said,
Well, Thomas, there's a very simple reason for that, but I can't tell you until tonight. See you then.
And with that, he huffed and puffed away with his long train. Thomas was confused now. Why tonight? He thought. Thomas just brushed it off and left when the guard's whistle blew. That evening, Thomas was still confused. Not just because Percy and Edward sent him to the yard, or because Lady dragged him to Tidmouth Station, or because James took a truck of anonymous objects, but also because of what Henry said. Why would he go to Knapford Station tonight? At last, Toby arrived at Wellsworth Station, where Thomas was.
What are you doing out here, Thomas?
The tram engine asked him.
Come on, we got to go to Knapford Station. Everyone else is there.
Thomas thought about what Henry said, and what everyone else did, and then he asked Toby.
Why is everyone else there?
Then, at last, Toby explained everything that happened that day to Thomas, including the contents in James's truck, what Henry meant by seeing him tonight, etc. Now Thomas was very excited. Now he could finally know why everyone's been acting like this. So with that, Thomas and Toby journeyed from Wellsworth back to Knapford, just as the sun went down. Toby pulled up to platform 1 at the station once they arrived. Thomas pulled up happily beside Toby, and just as he stopped, he heard all his friends whistle at the same time. Thomas was surprised by this, but couldn't respond until he knew that there was a huge medal wrapped around his funnel.
Today's the 80th anniversary of when you came to Sodor. Don't you know that?
Percy said to his best friend Thomas.
But we've never known or done anything for it up until now.
James added.
So we decided that this year would be different,
said Edward.
80 years have passed since you arrived, and after years, you're still the best blue tank engine,
implied Emily.
You've always been a great little engine, little Thomas,
Gordon said with a smile.
You were well deserving of all this, Bob.
Remarked Henry, affectionately.
You've always told us that little engines can do big things.
Lady said.
So we did all this.
We're all glad to have you as a friend and a cousin, Thomas.
Julian said compassionately.
Thanks for everything.
The day you came to the island is the day our lives changed forever. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Chuckled Toby.
If only we could show you how much fun we had with you.
Toby's right. But we can show you how much fun we had.
Thomas didn't know what to say 80 years ago. When he arrived from Brighton, he has come a long way. Now that he's hit such a milestone, not only does he feel old, but he also feels very thankful for what the other engines did for him.